we just love all the things we love about you and the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, it's wonderful how you just laid everything out just like you do in the program. And I was cracking up because I was reading it on the plane
Yep.
when I read the book. And I said to everybody, I said it was kind of like I heard your voice as I was reading it. And so if it was somebody else's book, it
Yeah.
wouldn't it wouldn't have hit the same, but like, knowing your tone and inflection and your humor, it's just so real. And the fact that you've done it all. Everything you're leading us through, you've been through. So,
Yep.
you're not some no name teenager trying to do day trades that doesn't appear to have a family. And I don't know, it's different. And so it was fun. It was great to talk it out. We talked about the book. We talked about who we gave the book to and why.
Amazing.
So yeah, it was
Amazing.
fun.
Well, I wish I could have been there. I had the event, but when we got it, I think I got off at like 8:30 my time, which is Central Standard Time, and it was well after you guys were done. So I was like, well, I missed that one, but I was actually anticipating on going, but unfortunately I couldn't. But it's probably better I wasn't there. So sometimes people won't give the honest truth, which I like to hear a lot of times.
I think that this group would have just been as we are,
Yeah.
as we are. So
It's a great group, it really is. And talk
yeah,
let's talk about your experience here. And I wanna pull up your I'm trying to find you have so many posts. I'm trying to find the actual one. Do you remember where you posted you before and after, what you titled it exactly?
shoot. No, it would have been around December, my graduate stuff.
Yeah, December. Awesome. Well, let's walk through. I'll pull it up the screen while we talk, but would love to
Sure.
hear kind of the before and the journey through and where you're at right now.
Sure. So the before part was I had been with my husband for about 30 years and was in the process of divorcing. So I found you a year into the divorce process. I was already in my little apartment. I was already trying to understand what my new life expenses were. Um, very different from relying on two incomes. We were still, when I joined, our funds were joint. So I hadn't hit the reality of having just my income to pay for expenses.
Hmm.
So it was really perfect timing. When I did the look back, I could see, where all the money was going. A lot of it was those one-time expenses, trying to set up for, a new place. And doing the look back was helpful. And then starting the budget at a time, when suddenly I did have just my income to rely on was
Yep.
helpful.
Yep.
Um, it emphasized I'm not a big spender, but it's helpful to see all the little bits where, the money was. So,
Mm.
I had been in a relationship for quite a long time. When we got together, I was 20, he was 30. He was already 10 years into his career. I was kind of just out of college. And, he set me up for a lot of good habits. So, I mean, thankfully that was a fantastic learning experience about, being married. We had always paid off our credit cards. We never had debt. We had the mortgage, we got reasonable car payments. We were never overspenders that way. So
Yep.
so super grateful for everything I learned in that. Um, so anyway, coming into the program, I knew here I am on my own. I hadn't had control of my finances in terms of, my husband made all the decisions
Yep.
as far as our investments. I had a Roth IRA, he
Hmm.
had a 401k, we had savings, we had a high yield savings account, but the decisions were really, not driven by me. It was, um, we talked about them, but it was really driven by him, which
Sure.
had done very well for us. But I felt also like I didn't have the experience to manage things on my own. So, anywho, I knew I had to figure stuff out, and I was watching finance people online for a while, you and several other people, and I know historically I'm a bad student, and I know I've said this before. And for me, it's all about the teacher. And so when I saw you I was like, wow, this guy he seems for real. He's so energized. And that's exactly what I knew I needed as a historically poor student.
Mm-hmm.
And I also knew I was at the point in my life where, like, I'm in 100%. I need to figure this out. It's all me. I was coming up on 50, going through the divorce, having been with somebody for a long time, really feeling like I
You said
needed
30, right?
30, coming up on 30, coming up on 30.
It's just
Yeah,
a
just
number.
realizing that I can't let other people run my life. I have to take control.
Yep.
Nobody's coming to save me. Nobody's going to figure it out. So much of this just treading water in life. We're all just, we go home and we work and we come home and we live for the 2-day weekend. And so, anyway, I needed something to get myself under control.
Mm-hmm.
And the 6 months was great. It was, I was lagging. I was putting in a lot of effort with the community and getting through the week's information, asking a lot of questions. There was ups and downs, like everybody has the ups and downs and slow
Sure.
moments, hold ups, and it was just growth over the 6 months.
Yep.
I'm not a high income earner, so it wasn't this crazy findings of suddenly I have all this extra money. I'm not a huge spender, so it's not like I can cut out like $500 worth of coffee a week, or
Yep.
I don't buy handbags, so it's not like I can cut out my handbag habit. Um, so really it was about making sure that every dollar was put to work. I was able to really look at the 401k the money in there that I already had in place. I learned about the fees associated. I, reallocated some things to make sure they were divided up the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the same thing with my Roth IRA, took a look at how things were divided up, watched for fees. It's like you don't know what you don't know. And like I
Sure.
knew we have to pay off our bills every month. And I know I needed to be investing, but the details around, what is my risk tolerance and
Mm-hmm.
how do I decide um, what I want it split? Do I only want stuff in the US market? Do I want to consider supporting international ETFs, and having things split up different ways that I never considered before?
Sure. Sure.
So that was helpful. And to be honest, I never thought about how much money do I need to retire?
Yeah.
Where am I at? How far am I off? In the compound interest calculator, that was huge, because I could look at, what I have where and how it's going to grow if I keep up what I'm doing. Kind of knowing that, puts my mind at ease. It really helps to know that the retirement aspect, I feel like I have under control. And then, there's other things I need to work on, like, my income, side
Mm-hmm.
hustle stuff,
Mm-hmm.
bringing more money. There's only so much you can cut back. I'm still going to go out to dinner every now and then. I still want
Sure.
to save for vacation and do things with my family, but um,
As you should.
moderation.
Yeah, I think it's incredible what you've done, and I've seen the growth since day one. And like, I think the biggest thing that sticks out, and Tom and I talk about this all the time. Like, we know when somebody comes in here, we know who's going to get results right away, just by the not only energy and showing up, but like just being present and putting forth the time. And we obviously, you are still killing it even as of today, after theoretical graduation, because it's a lifetime group. You're still very active, so it doesn't surprise me where you're at. Like, I think you obviously knocked out that credit card debt with me early on, which was a very exciting time as well. And that's because you were very active. And, when we get the top student, you were the top student that month. And so we wiped that out clean. That's a very awesome thing. I'm looking at your before and after. This is insane how many, like, we could go on for days about all this stuff. I see like the in control thing was a big one. I think getting over a divorce is a massive win for you, like a huge win to take back control of that. That's phenomenal by every single way you can define success. But right here, this really stuck out to me. You mentioned wait, where was I? Right down here. So top boys to save at least half of what they earned were gifted. Encourage them to think before spending and not waste money. And you said still encourage good spending habits, but really making a push for them to invest early, because children have the longest time horizon of us all. They're not 30 like you, Karen. They're younger.
Yeah, not at
And
all.
so talk to me about that experience with how this kind of played out.
Sure. So two different boys. Everybody's different. The older one is on his own. He's done with college. He is an entrepreneur. He's into fashion. He is creating his own things, looking into his own business stuff, does projects for people, just got a new job, just so much progress, so much growth, and one thing after another. So in talking to him, he's like, wow, Mom, I'm so proud of you, really getting outside of your comfort zone. This isn't something you ever would have done before. And, you have to be careful. Like, I don't want to be that parent of the young adult who's starting on his own and be in his business, because I've had some family be in in the money business, like, oh well,
Mhm.
how much do you spend on this and how much do
Mm.
you spend on that, and it's like, all right, well, how many times can I dodge the same question politely without saying, hey, like, not your business.
Sure.
But I've let him know, hey, I'm here for you. If you need something, let me know. And he's been pretty open with that sort of communication. Sent him the compound interest calculator, encouraged him to speak to his job about the 401k and the matching when it's time. What
Sure.
he's doing right now is just part-time, but taking advantage of, I said, geez, even if it's $50 a month, $100 a month to start, anything is better than nothing.
Yes.
So, pretty receptive, pretty receptive. So that's the older one. And then the younger one is still in college. So not a regular job. We talk
Sure.
about spending choices and sent him the compound interest calculator. I got he had an emergency savings fund. So instead of having it in a regular savings account where he would have access to it, he agreed and said, yeah, go ahead and put it somewhere. So that's invested in some ETFs and a brokerage type account. So that's
Incredible.
growing. I mean, it's already up another $1,000 pretty much from
Wow.
last summer, I think. So that will be there for him. You know, when you have a college age student who wants to have fun with their friends, it's a hard thing to weigh, about what needs to be spent on and all that.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it's different situations for different kids, and they're both proud and happy that I've gotten through what I'm doing, and taking the initiative, which is
Sure.
something I probably wouldn't have done in the past.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I've seen myself as well, and I've seen you grow out of your comfort zone, like you mentioned. I see at the very top, you even mentioned, like, I've gotten out of my comfort zone right here by
Mhm.
joining even and sharing my personal information, fears and such with strangers. That's a big thing to overcome. But what it's led to is right here, taking charge in all areas of my life, looking in the big picture so I can take the best steps or take steps for the best possible outcomes. Talk to me through that. How has this impacted other things in your life besides finances themselves?
Um, I think it's definitely given me some insight in looking at things more from the outside. I was saying before, we all just get stuck in a rut of what we're used to. Like, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And, like growing up, my mom had a job forever,
Mhm.
35 years at the same place. And I thought, wow, that's what I want to do. She had respect and seniority, and knew what she was doing. Everyone went to her, and I thought, well, that's a great role model. That's the kind of thing that I want to do. And as I've gotten into that now, somewhere for 23 years, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, wow, I've grown. Maybe I have to keep my options open. Maybe there are other things. Maybe I don't have to be afraid about switching jobs. Things that I wouldn't have
Sure.
considered before, things I wouldn't have participated in. Like, um, in a big group of people, I would not be talking. I'd be the person sitting at the table just listening to everybody. But in the community, it's almost like an even playing ground where everybody has the same opportunity to communicate. So if you're soft spoken, you're still heard because it's on paper somewhere else. And
Yep.
so I think, like, the community has definitely helped me branch out and share opinions that way. But everything from fitness, and considering diet changes, and considering long-term spending and savings and life goals, things that are more big picture things that I was just so stuck in my day to day
Yep.
that now I'm really thinking, okay, 5 years out, what does 5 years out look like? What is that for work? What is that for family? What is that for my living arrangements? And really trying to come up with plans for longer term things and not just survive the day to day.
Wow, it's literally so inspiring. I literally love this. So you made a huge jump, a huge leap of faith. This was a big deal. This has changed a lot of stuff for you. What got you over that hump at the end of the day? Like you obviously saw me online, you were watching some financial people, the divorce was in progress. What was that thing that was just like, okay, I got to do this. I got to change my life and I want to do and work with you specifically.
Oh, specifically, yeah, it was just how real you were and your enthusiasm. It was entirely just you're so easy to listen to and so confident, not arrogant. Like I could see how some people, like you say, people say, oh, he's got a trust fund, and
For sure.
people will say whatever. But to me, you just came across as being so genuine and so enthusiastic. And the fact that all the stuff you're talking about online is all stuff that you have done yourself. You
Mhm.
have a family and you have kids and you have, Logan with the health concerns, and you're doing all these, you're telling us all about these things you're doing, real life changes with risks involved, and you made it happen. And you had it all figured out, you've proved that you've done it. And so to hear you talk about it with all of that enthusiasm, for me being somebody who was, hesitant and reluctant and kind of an introvert and feeling like I'm not a good student, coming across you at the time where I needed to do something big. And like I was doing the divorce, that was big. Living on
Mhm.
my own now after 30 years, that's big. And taking charge of my finances, I'm like, wow, this guy this is going to work.
Yep.
So I was ready to give 110%. And I really felt by watching you and seeing what I saw that I felt like it was a good choice. So, anybody who I see it in the community, people are like, yeah, I stalked Brennan. I watched him. I wasn't sure. I think if anybody thinks they're not sure, they just need to get into it because it's totally the right thing.
I love to hear that. And it's just inspiring being able to inspire you guys as well. What would you tell somebody? Like somebody that's sitting there, they know they want to fix their finances. Like that's not even a maybe, maybe not. They know they want that. But they're afraid to take that leap of faith because they're just afraid of the unknown. They're afraid of like, what if this doesn't work for me? All those types of things. What would you tell that individual or maybe even yourself before you took that leap of faith?
I think when I think about talking with other people, like even some people that I know, I think people, I think a lot of it is ego. I think people are maybe afraid to consider what they might have to give up when they hear the word budget
Yes.
or finance. I think there's, it brings up all this, you see it in the community. It brings up all this guilt and, oh my gosh, why didn't I start earlier? And all these regrets. And I think people don't like to feel bad things.
Sure.
And I think there's no time like the present to start. You just need to start wherever you're at. You just need to start. And I think you have to just be prepared to have some hard feelings and sit with it. And, in terms of the community, everybody's in a different place. And like, if you think you're the only person who's going to go through this, everybody's going through the same thing at different levels. The high income earners, the people who have no money, the people who have more kids, no kids, the people who are moving across the country, everybody has their hardships.
Yes.
And I think if they're considering about joining it, they should know that they're going to have so much support, but just let go of the fear. Let go of the fear and just give it a go. Put in a little bit of time every day, and it'll kind of become addictive. Like you just want to keep doing better and more
Yep.
to have that improvement. I don't think I would have told myself anything differently because I was trying to be cautious and not jump into something. There's so many scams out there.
Tons.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't, like I said, picking some, teenager who has no family, who's not risk is just their own. It's
You mean
not,
TikTok?
I don't know. I'm a 30-year-old. I don't go on TikTok. But yeah, I think I wouldn't have told myself anything different. I think I did for me, I did the right amount of watching and looking. But everybody else, I think, just has to get honest with what are your real goals? You know, it's not the BMW next door, really. It's taking care of your kids and, you know, having a nice vacation if that's what you want, or going out to date night with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just kind of letting go of some of those, you know, paying attention to your wants versus needs. Like, do
Yeah.
you really need the handbag? Or I don't know. I'm not a hair and nails person. I don't have handbags. I don't have fancy clothes. So I can't cut back on that stuff anyway. Some people can. And I think that would be a great first spot to start. But
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, I think anybody who's on the fence just needs to take that first step and get started and feel the feelings, and then they'll feel the progress.
Incredible stuff. Incredible story as well. Just super proud of you. Congratulations to everything you've done. What what else can we help you with? Is there anything else right now at the current moment? I know the Q2 seven-figure club stuff is coming up like in a couple weeks. So
Yep.
obviously we'll be reviewing that in detail, but is there anything else in the meantime?
No, I can't say that there is. You know, I personally have, you know, kind of backed off on keeping up with the budget documentation as much as I should have. And I kind of need to even go back to the stuff in the beginning of the program, read some things. There's so many things that I want to revisit, and I just need to make time for, like watching the syndication stuff again.
Yep.
You know, I have a bunch of things underway. I'm figuring out the last bits of the 401k movement, that getting that stuff settled. I have Poshmark this close just to being put online. Hundreds of pictures and bins of clothes all ready to go. And then we'll be looking into the plasma donation.
Love it.
So yeah, a lot of little things kind of underway. And the big goal is the car payoff. I have about 19 grand on the car, and every extra bit is going to go to that. So
Love it. Love it.
So yeah, my goal, which I don't dare say this out loud, but I would love for the car to be paid off by this time next year.
That would be amazing. Let's do that. I'll relay it to Tom as well for seven-figure club.
Right.
So we'll do that. We'll focus on that in a huge way.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it.
We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it if we decide to. I guarantee it. I know you will. I know 100% know you will. Tomorrow, June 20th, 2025, this will be paid off.
Yep.
Awesome.
I'll put it on my phone calendar for next year.
Phone calendar is the way to go.
Right.
I love it. So anyways, Karen, let us know what else you need. We're always here. We obviously are going to be meeting up here shortly for Q2 meetup for Seven Figure Club. And I'm going to relay all that stuff to Tom as well, so that he starts starts thinking forward to Seven Figure Club. So we have notes on that and stuff like that. So it's going to be fun. But let me know what you need. We're always here. We're not going to run away or anything like that.
Thank you. Thank you. So much appreciation for everything, and just how, you know, how straight across the board, even, fair, honest, just straightforward and real you are. And you're real online, you're real in the stuff you write and your chats back to people. It's not like you're one person, one place. It's just, you know, consistent. It's consistent and reliable, and that's what makes you trustworthy. So
I love it. Yeah, it's sometimes it's tough to get that point across to people online, because like they see bits and pieces, right? And so like they don't know who you are really, truly. And then like, but my wife always tells me, Aaron's like, you're like a horrible liar. Like the second if you try to lie, like I know that instantly. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it real. I tell her stuff. I think my whole brain just is like a brain dump every day with her.
Right.
So
well, thank
awesome,
you.
Karen. Well, I appreciate everything. We'll stay in touch, and again, congratulations on everything so far.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. See you. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.